Well, we are in the midst of earnings season, and the big ones today. Bharti Airtel, it has beaten street estimates, posting a net profit of over 2,900 crore rupees in the second quarter versus expectations of 2,400 crore rupees. Average revenue per user has also come in higher. It's come in at 190 rupees. That's up from 183 in the previous quarter. So it's a beat there for Bharti Airtel in Q2. Now, the rise of promising startups and tech companies in India has offered a lucrative opportunity for the world's top venture capital firms. The Prime Minister's repeated assurances of promoting startups is also giving confidence and hope to global investment to the investment community to place their bets on Indian companies. One such firm is Celesta Capital, based in the US. Celesta is a multi-stage deep tech venture capital firm having 95 companies in its portfolio, with 11 of them being valued at over $1 billion, 4 companies valued at over $500 million. The firm has 4 funds totaling over $1 billion. Its India portfolio includes companies like Arzu, Clairvolex, Connect, Heal, Healofy, IdeaForge, Quest, Pixis, Rizzle, and more. The company recently invested in the Indian medical diagnostic platform 5C Network at a $4.6 million Series A funding round. So what is Celesta's India strategy? Which sectors and companies is it looking to invest in? To talk about this and more, I'm joined by Arun Kumar, Managing Partner, and Nicholas Brathwaite, Founding Partner at Celesta Capital. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on the program. Mr. Kumar, it's great to have you back on the show in a different avatar this time around. So let me start by asking you about Celesta Capital, as well as the current context as far as the Indian startup ecosystem is concerned. It is a difficult period. It's a challenging period, given the fact that the easy money that this ecosystem has gotten used to has dried up for now. But what's the sense that you get on how quickly you believe we will ride out this volatility?
So I think, Shereen, for the kinds of investments that we make, which really are like a Series A, early stage to mid stage, things have not changed. The opportunities are very much there. We are very excited with the entrepreneurs we are meeting. The market, we are looking at a long-term market, so it's going to be strong, both in India as well as the US and the global markets that we are looking for. So in venture capital, our horizon is longer than the current short-term situation. So when you look at it that way, this is a good time to be starting a company. Yes, there will be some pressure on valuations, which have gotten arguably out of hand. But for successful enterprises with strong value propositions, this is actually a very good time to get started. And we've seen that. And we've seen that in previous such cycles. These have been the kinds of times when high-quality companies were born. So we are very excited to be here. We're excited with what we are seeing.
Yes.
And Nick?
Nicholas, let me take that forward with you. As Mr. Kumar was pointing out, the silver lining through this difficult period has been that Series A early stage funding continues to move higher. What do you find different in the quality of entrepreneurs, in the quality of businesses and business models in India today versus what you are seeing globally? You've got a large portfolio, global portfolio. And more importantly, how much are you going to be deploying in India? What's the war chest that you're working with?
Well, in terms of the types of companies we've seen in India, things haven't changed that much. But the opportunities in India are tremendous, though. The quality of the companies we see and the quality of the entrepreneurs we see are very good. One of the very first companies we invested in when we started the fund almost 10 years ago was in semiconductor company. And it was our first exit, and it was a very good exit. And so we've been investing here from the time we started the fund. We always had a focus on investing in India, and we started to see a lot more opportunities than we saw then. I think what's happened is all of us have probably slowed down the pace at which we're investing, but it's not because we're not seeing great opportunities. It's because of the current global economic situation.
Yes, speaking of the pace having slowed down, and that reflects the global mood at this point in time, which is risk off or risk averse. But Mr. Kumar, you said that you're excited by what you see. You've invested in a whole bunch of companies, of course, largely deep tech. What excites you most about the investments that you've already made, and more importantly, what's lined up in terms of future investments?
So I would say what excites us is the opportunity for deep technology, and that means hardware, software, semiconductors, systems, where there is some fairly complicated technology involved to solve important problems. With the talent exists in India, we do not see India as a cost arbitrage play. We see it as a very strong talent play. So that's very exciting. Then applying technology for transformation in areas like agriculture, healthcare, education, retail, and we have made investments in all these areas, is also very exciting because we see a tremendous absorption of technology in these sectors once we have the right technology available to them and delivered in the right way. What's ahead? I think all these companies that can benefit from very seasoned guidance. And what Celesta brings is people with a tremendous amount of experience, operating experience, leadership experience. So young entrepreneurs in India can gain the benefit of the experience of people like Nick, of my experience, of Michael Marks, of Sriram Vishwanathan, other partners, of Sudhir Rao, and of many other partners that we have who have real world experience, which can really help make a very big difference. And we've seen that in the companies we worked with, that entrepreneurs who are very bright technically can benefit greatly with operating experience. So we see an opportunity for applying operating experience to build and scale world-class companies from India. That's what we see, and we're excited about that.
Okay. Nick, speaking of that excitement, I want to understand from you, you spoke about the one big exit that you've already seen here in India, and of course you've had a decade-long journey here. In terms of the size, the ticket sizes, the check values, how has that changed over the last 10 years, and what can we expect now in terms of the average check size from you for your potential portfolio companies, and any likely exits on the anvil, or has that been pushed back because of the current environment?
Well, let me start with the last part of the question. We do have a likely exit. We have a company here that we invested in several years ago, and that is going to be public probably early next year. And we're excited about that. In terms of check sizes, that has not changed significantly. We probably have increased the initial check size that we do in India slightly, but not significantly. But the total investment that we're making in companies in India, that has increased. If you look at 7 to 10 years ago, the size of the investments we were making, I would say they were probably about half of the total amount we're investing in companies today.
Okay, so the average ticket size remains more or less the same, but the value of or the quantum of investments in India has gone up significantly over the last 10 years. Mr. Kumar, we just had the Karnataka Chief Minister speaking to us. Of course, the Karnataka Investment Summit is on, and like every state government, the government of Karnataka trying to woo investors, saying that we're not in competition with other Indian states, we're in competition with Silicon Valley. I don't know what you make of that comparison.
No, I think it's a collaborative relationship. There are tremendous synergies between Silicon Valley and Bangalore, where Nick and I live in Silicon Valley and we're here in Bangalore. And the potential for synergies is tremendous. So I don't really personally see it as competition. There could be healthy competition. Let's create more successful companies out of Bangalore and increase the pace of that. So that's great. But otherwise, there's going to be a lot of collaboration between the two. And I think, and you also mentioned Prime Minister Modi. He has been pushing the idea of Make in India. And what we are seeing in the companies we're investing in is almost beyond Make in India. Design in India, build in India, scale from India. So overall, we see working between Silicon Valley and India to be one with tremendous potential.
Just to take that forward, Nick, and I'll give you the final say, speaking about this collaboration as well as the global aspirations of Indian startups, including some of your own portfolio companies, where are things currently? I mean, if you were to just assess what's happening within your own portfolio, how real, how significant are these global aspirations? How long before we can actually see a significant difference being made by these Indian startups on the global scale?
I think the potential is real. If you look at the companies that we've invested in, we believe that all of them have the potential to be global businesses. And you have to think that way when you invest in technology. Technology is a global business. Your competition can come from anywhere. So the companies in which we're investing, we believe have the potential to be able to scale globally. The first one I mentioned that we had to exit, one of our first customers came out of the US, but then the second customer came out of China. And we've recently had two of our companies here that have started branches in the US, one just recently and one some time ago, because we are starting to see great traction in the US for some of these companies. So I think it's real. The companies we are developing, as Arun says, there's real talent here, and we are developing products that could be competitive globally.
Well, that is good to hear, and we wish you and the team at Celesta the very best of luck. Thanks so much for joining us to talk to us about the India strategy and your future plans here for the Indian startup ecosystem. Arun Kumar Nicholas Brathwaite, always a pleasure. Many thanks for joining us here on Business 360. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Business 360. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned to CNBC-TV18. The news will continue on the other side.
Co-powered by Van Heusen.